Uh, hey guys, it's Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the weekly analysis. Today is Tuesday, the 27th of February 2018. The time is 19:22 here in the UK. We're having a bit of a late start because of a few technical issues and then a few other issues on top of that, but we're just going to jump right into it. Today we are looking for price action setups. So that's reversal setups, that's continuation setups, that's all kinds of price action setups. We're not going to limit ourselves to a certain kind, all kinds of price action setups we are going to trade. So we're looking for price action setups across all of these pairs. That's all the pairs I trade there. If you notice my camera freezing, that's because whenever I use the drawing tools on this little thing, the camera freezes. So there's going to be moments in this where I'm pulling a really weird face and the camera freezes, unfortunately, but hey, you're going to have to put up with it. Anyway, let's get into the analysis. We're going to start off with EURUSD on the daily chart. What's going on EURUSD? EURUSD has pushed up to a resistance area. We were looking at this as a potential trade yesterday. I personally didn't take it. I just missed it, really. That's what happened. I was looking for it to form a little bit lower in this resistance area. It pushed up above it. I stopped watching it. Then when I came back to it, all of a sudden it had turned around. Go figure. That it happens sometimes. What can you do? So I kind of missed this trade. Had I been paying a bit closer attention, I probably would have seen it. But you know, USJPY. What's going on with this one? USJPY. Again, we were looking for a possible setup here yesterday. Now this one is I guess you could technically say this one's also working out like EURUSD, but this one would definitely never have been entered. It's just way too messy. No possible entry there, so whatever. AUDJPY, what's going on with this? AUDJPY is below the resistance area. Nothing much to say here, guys. I mean, it's broken below it, come back up to it, pushing back down. One thing you should note is that it's where's the time frame you could see this best? Right, this is a good time frame for this. If you look at this recent low here, it's sitting at that recent low right now. So let's see what it does. Let's see if it manages to break below that recent low and just keep pushing down. Right, AUD New Zealand. AUD New Zealand has pushed up above resistance. I mean, there's nothing much we can do here. No real trade setups here. AUD-USD. AUD-USD has pushed up to resistance and has bounced away. So if you wanted to be in a short here, you should have already been in it. Bit too late to enter. Did anyone jump in short for AUD-USD, by the way? Just out of curiosity. No? It was a nice little trade. I mean, on the 4 hour. At least it looks nice, but whatever. Anyway, that's not important. No one's jumped in, so it doesn't matter. EURUSD. EURUSD is sitting on top of a support area right now. This is a pretty decent support area. It held price back last week. No, this was a bit longer than last week, but it held price back recently is what I'm trying to say. Price came down to here, bam, pushed away. So, because I held price back last week, I am going to be watching, sorry, 2 weeks ago, roughly. I am going to be watching it again now. It's already showing signs of stalling on the lower time frames. 6 hour, for example, we're already seeing price stalling on the 6 hour. 4 hour, obviously, we're going to see price stalling if we're seeing it on the 6 hour. Point is, we're seeing price stalling on the support area. It's a strong support area. Held price back recently. Looking for a bullish reversal trade from this area, potentially. That reversal trade, you could argue, is in line with the trend, but this major trend is somewhat dying. I'm going to quickly add the 200 MA to this chart. I don't know why it's gone. Okay, that was weird. Just gonna change the style slightly. What color would be good? Purple. stands out a bit on my charts. Cool. So Euro USD trending up, but you know, this trend looks like it might be dying. It's found this high here. This looks like honestly, it does overall look like it might start to go down. I know that goes completely against what I just said, that I'm looking for a bullish reversal, but I'm only looking for a bullish reversal if things line up and if it starts going up, if buyers take control of price. If they don't and they start pushing down, then I'll be looking for a short trade. But what I'm seeing here is a strong support area. If we get a similar formation to what we got last week, where we get these indecision candles forming along here, then I'll be looking for a bullish reversal trade. If we don't get that, then I'm not going to be looking for a trade. I'm not going to jump in on a bullish trade right now. That's not what I'm saying at all. We need to wait and see what happens. If it keeps going down, which is very likely, because it does look like this downtrend might be over, maybe. This uptrend might be over. This bullish trend might be over, maybe. Then we won't be taking a long trade, obviously. Okay, so GBPUSD, what's going on with that? GBPUSD is pushing up to this resistance area. It's already made a few attempts at breaking it, and it just can't get through it. It's a bit too messy for me. Not really a big fan of that, to be honest. Move EURUSD to the top of the list. USDJPY. It's just ranging between these two support resistance areas. So GBPUSD has recently broken out of this range, but it just fell right back into it. So it's pretty much stuck in this range, and it's finding it really hard to actually get out of it properly. If you look at it on the daily, it's a bit squashed on the daily. But point is, it's stuck on this range, and it's struggling very, very hard to get out of it. So there's not really a trade opportunity there. GBPUSD. GBPUSD has come down to this support area, and it's bounced away from it very, very quickly. Kind of a violent bounce away from it. I mean, there isn't much happening there right now, but I will be looking to see what happens if sellers manage to get down to here again. I'm very curious to see what happens. If there's any buyers left in this area to give us a potential reversal, or if it clears straight through it, then comes back up to it, it could give us a continuation. Worth keeping an eye on GBPUSD right now, but there's no, clear setup at the moment. Not at all. Right, New Zealand USD short, just continuing. Short trade from up here that a few of you took. It's just going down and down and down, so good work on that. Nothing much else to say about this unless there's any questions about it. USDCAD finally going up. I thought there was a pretty good chance that this was going to start heading down, to be honest. Just because it was kind of stuck on this resistance area that was also merging with the 200 SMA. 200 MA, not SMA. That's usually a pretty solid resistance area when those two come together. But this time it's breaking right through it. It happens. What can you do? I didn't take a trade there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's going up straight through it. So this could be the start of a nice, strong uptrend on USDCAD. That's what I'm looking for. If price manages to hold above this this resistance area, plus the 200 MA, this could be the start of a nice, strong uptrend on USDCAD. So in the coming week, I'm going to be watching for the start of an uptrend, for a potential entry as a continuation trade or a breakout trade from above here somewhere. So let's watch this one really closely. We could get a strong setup from this. The ideal setup would be price closing somewhere up here, coming back down to test this this area as support, so giving us a nice little entry down here for a continuation, up here or possibly up there. So this one has potential. Do keep a close eye on it. I'm actually excited for this one. EURUSD, excited for that. Sorry, USDCAD, excited for that. EURUSD, semi, kind of like potentially excited for that. That one's not that great, but this one, it has some potential. USDCHF. just in between support resistance. Can't do much with that. USDJPY is pushed up to a resistance area. USDJPY is in a pretty strong downtrend, but it does look like that the trends might be ending for USD. We don't know yet. It's nothing has clearly been decided, but still overall it is in a downtrend. It is so we could potentially get into a short trade here with the trend. It wouldn't be a long-term trade though. It's clear that USDJPY is struggling to get any lower than it was at here. It could go lower. I mean, traders always make that mistake. They're like, oh, it's very, very low. It can't go lower. But then it does go lower. So I don't make that mistake. All I'm saying is that it is at some significant lows. So I probably wouldn't bet too much on it going a whole lot lower. I would be willing to take a short trade from this resistance area here. Definitely willing to take a short trade from this resistance here. We're already seeing signs of sellers entering the market here. We got that nice long wick from this resistance area. Last time it approached this resistance area, it pulled away quite quickly. So there is potential for a short here. I'm just not sure if I would want to get into a long-term short targeting anything far below this support area, because those are getting to be some pretty extreme lows for USDJPY, and it's already shown that it's unwilling to get that low. So while it's possible, I would say that those are lows of the lowest points since 2016, by the way. While it's possible, yeah, I wouldn't... sorry, I'm just going to double check that it was, in fact, 2016. All right, yeah, it was, sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it too much, that it's going to continue down to those 2016 lows. Sorry, I got distracted there a little bit. I just thought I missaw something. Right, so USDJPY, potential trade there. Euro AUD. Euro AUD is just in this range on this resistance area, and it just won't get out of it. It's been ranging here for... Oops. It's been ranging here for some time now, and it's just stuck. Just won't break out of it. Not something that I'm going to trade. Not something that I'm interested in trading. But we do have some setups today, guys. We have Euro USD. Euro USD is not looking fantastic right now because it is pushing down quite strongly. And there is no clear and solid sign of price stalling on higher timeframes. There is on lower timeframes, but not on higher timeframes. So if it's not happening on higher timeframes, I tend not to put too much stock in it. So we have what could potentially develop into a bullish reversal trade, or a bullish, you could even possibly call it a continuation trade if you wanted to, from this support area. Depending on what happens at this support area, this could be a bullish trade or it could be a bearish trade. It totally depends on what happens. If it breaks through the support area, comes back up and tests it, then I'll definitely be looking for a short. If it stalls heavily here, much in the same way that it did recently, then I will be looking for a bullish reversal trade. So either a bearish continuation or a bullish reversal. Depends on the situation. Rehan is asking, what time frame should we wait for the candle to close before thinking about Euro USD? I'm definitely going to be looking at the 12-hour for a minimum, but I prefer to be looking at the daily for this, to be honest. 12-hour is a minimum, but yeah, daily. I want to see what happens on the daily. If you're feeling like you want to take some risk and you want to jump in early, 12-hour, go for it, but I'm not going to go for anything below the daily with this. Yeah, it would just be too risky. Because you know what's going to happen if you enter on a low time frame? Price could just be stalling here for a very short time before it continues down for what is ultimately going to be a continuation. And that happens time and time again. In a situation like this, it's a bit risky to just jump into a trade on a small time frame. If we start seeing price stalling on the daily, that's more significant. That's telling us that sellers are really struggling to get through that area and they cannot get through. Bears cannot get through that area. So yeah, daily. USD CAD, I'm actually pretty excited about this. This one looks pretty decent. The reason for that is it's breaking up above this strong resistance area. When price gets above a strong resistance area like this and it's coupled with the 200 SMA, that usually means we're starting to see a bit of an uptrend. So I'd be looking for something like this from here. I'm actually pretty excited about this. This looks pretty good. But this one's probably not going to develop right away. It's probably going to take a little while for this to develop. So again, something we're looking at the daily for. So, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. Maybe even early next week. Totally depends. Could happen quickly. It could happen a bit slower than that. We just have to keep an eye on it. And USDJPY, this is something that can happen a lot quicker. This is something that can happen over the next, you know, the next day, even half a day. I'm going to be watching for a short trade here, maybe even on the 8-hour, 6-hour. Yeah. 8-hour seems good to me. So does the 6-hour. I'm going to be watching on those trades. I'm not saying it's guaranteed that I'm going to enter on, sorry, those time frames. I'm not saying it's guaranteed I'm going to enter on those time frames, but I am going to be watching on those time frames. I might enter on those time frames, but of course, we will discuss it on the forum, you know, depending on what happens in the coming 2 hours, 20 minutes when this candle closes. Any questions, guys? Thanks for watching the analysis. I hope it was useful. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button below. Also, for instant notifications when I post analysis or other cool videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Once the setups I share in this analysis trigger, I post live updates as I manage the trade, such as my entry, exit, stop, and when to get out of the trade. For these updates, add me on Facebook or Twitter by clicking the buttons below. I'll see you in the next video.